Millefiori is Italian for 1,000 flowers. It's also an elaborate glass-making technique developed in 15th century Italy, in which pattern-colored glass rods are cut, grouped to form floral shapes, arranged into intricate patterns, then encased in clear crystal. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, these 1,000-flower paperweights speak for themselves. Two Canadian artists craft these Millefiori masterpieces, just as the renowned glassmakers of Murano, Italy did centuries ago. A mix containing silica sand, soda ash, and lime is heated to 1300 degrees Celsius, melting it into lead-free liquid crystal. With a molten crystal post, they pick up a densely colored bar of glass. They roll and shape the white color bar while stabilizing the post with cold water. Then, with a torch, they preheat an aluminum mold of a flower or other motif. Preheating the mold helps the glass flow into it more easily and assume the shape in greater detail. Once they've molded the colored glass, they return to the furnace to encase it in molten crystal. Then they repeatedly heat and shape the crystal with tools and with steam on a wad of wet newspaper until the crystal encases the flower-shaped color evenly. After reheating, they put some molten crystal on the end of another rod and grab the free end of the crystal-encased color. They wait until the glass cools to a specific consistency. Then, they begin to pull. They slowly stretch the glass into a thin and even rod, careful not to twist it, as that would distort the flower shape of the colored glass inside. This produces what's called a Murini cane, a clear crystal rod with a colored flower-shaped center. Once the Murini solidifies, they nip it into manageable lengths. Then they take Murini of different colors and designs, cut them into short rods, and bundle them into a pattern called a complex Murini. They preheat the complex Murini in a kiln to prevent shock-induced cracking. They now pick it up with a hot crystal post and, after removing the bundling wires, heat and work the group of glass rods into one. They now stretch this complex Murini into what's known as complex Murini cane. Once the cane stabilizes, they cut it into meter-long lengths, then cool them gradually in a kiln to relieve any stresses in the glass. Then they slice the lengths into 6 mm long pieces, the size required for the Millefiori paperweights. Now, using complex Murini pieces of different colors and patterns, they assemble the paperweight design, placing a unique, hand-constructed Murini in the center. This one is a trillium. Next, they encircle the setup with a heat-resistant graphite ring. This holds the pieces in position. After a final adjustment, the artists preheat a white, lace-patterned glass base they prepared earlier. This base will serve as a blank canvas for the colorful paperweight pattern. They push molten crystal onto the base. The ring contains it to the base's diameter. Then they reheat the base, making it smooth and free of air pockets, preheat the complex Murini setup, and stick the base onto it. Like before, the ring contains the spread. Another overall reheating softens the glass and fully fuses all the components. This fills crevices and smooths the surface. Now they return to the furnace to encase this paperweight core in molten crystal. Using standard glassmaking techniques, they work the crystal to a bulbous shape. Then on the bottom, they form a break-off point. A sharp tap on the rod cracks the glass at that point, separating it from the rod. They heat the break-off point and insert a piece of cane bearing the artist's initials. After a 12-hour controlled cooling in the kiln, they grind the base level. Then they polish away the scratches left by the grinding wheel. After a thorough inspection, these magnificent Millefiori paperweights are ready to be shipped to art glass collectors worldwide.